Catfalajapadam Samathyami. Om Catfalajapadam Samathyami. Om Catfalajapadam Samathyami.
You can just put it on the funeral.
Om Jangaya Munatirtham Samathyami. Om Jangaya Munatirtham Samathyami. Om Jangaya Munatirtham Samathyami.
One more, that's it.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Arkaram Jodim, Sarikaram Karunim, Sarikaram Karunim, Arkaram Jodim. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Family members, friends, as we come through to view the body, please do not remove your shoes. Remember to never say dust will come to the home funeral. So for your own safety, all prayers will be done with shoes. When you're coming to view, please come with your shoes also. Ablution facilities are the back of the hall. So if you want to, you can go to the seat there. Meet the family, with the pastor, walk around to meet the family, and you can come back and take the seat. Once we are all, we will be having some messaging. So if you can just keep the tone a little bit lower to respect the grieving family. The final thing is, in the event of an emergency, we've got exit points on either side, go down the center of the dome, or the center point is at the car park. We get the immediate family to come to the first one. Yeah. Let's get started. Are there any other senior family members? Please come direct to the front.
You used to make
auditorium, there are COVID protocol in place. So if you prefer to wear a mask, we have some masks with us in the front here, especially the elderly. Please, you can come and fetch your mask from us. Good morning, family, friends. We are gathered here today to bid our final farewell to our uncle, our father, grandfather, brother, to an extended family. Mr. Vasuthava Naidu, fondly known to all of us as Uncle Deva. It is indeed a sad day, but we are also grateful, especially Vijayan and Vashi, the grandchildren, of the time that they had to spend with their father and grandfather. We have a few speakers today who will be paying tribute to Uncle Deva, and I'm going to call on his niece, Yegas Pillai, who will speak to us first.
morning, friends and family. Not so long ago, I was standing before you. Sharing Uncle Deva's 90th birthday celebration. And today I'm here to bid farewell. You know, Uncle Deva was a true celebrity, that is in the Naidu family, of course. For as long as I've known Uncle Deva, he was a warm-hearted, caring and kind human being. But he was also very stern and forthright in his judgment. He was known to be the fixer in the Naidu family. Anybody and everybody who needed advice would give him a call. If there was anybody I know in the Naidu family, was Uncle Deva, who learned the art of living. I say so because when he married Auntie Loga, it was for love and the beautiful soul that she was inside and out. An aunt whom I dearly adored. During her many visits to the hospital due to her illness, you never heard him complain. He was always gentle and kind. He weathered every storm because of the love he had for her. After her passing, he took the role of both mom and dad to Vijay, and they grew so close. So much so, they became the greatest of friends. I was also told that he acquired great culinary skills and provided sumptuous meals for the family. Sad to say, I wasn't able to sample it. In closing, I want to thank Vijay and Ashi for taking such great care of Uncle Deva, and I personally believe he lived to this ripe old age because of the love, kindness, care, and laughter that he shared together with Vijay, Bashi, Milan, and Urissa. In life, the message here today is the quality of life is more than quantity. Go well, Uncle Deva. May your soul rest in peace. We all love you dearly.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are two loving grandchildren we doted upon. And I know who are going to proceed here. I'm going to call Elaine and Vasuthava who will pay tribute to the great grandfather. Greetings to everyone that's present here today. It's with both the deepest sadness and also the greatest honor that we have the privilege to stand before all of you today and pay a tribute to a very, very great man. And that man is our grandfather, as we fondly know him as Tata. Most of you fondly know him as Deva. I'm sure he might have many other nicknames that I'm not as privileged to know. But he will always be known as our Tata. And he, everyone, I'll just go off what I was going to say for a moment. This speech that I am giving to you all today, it had been prepared for a very long time. My grandfather had been planning for this day for many years, and many of you sitting here today won't know that in my grandfather's later stages of life, especially within the last 5 to 10 years, he embarked on a personal journey of trying to find his own spirituality. Many of you that have known him for a long time might know this about him, but a lot of you that grew up with him and have known him for much longer than me might know he wasn't the particularly religious chap, but in the later stages of his life, him and I, we both read a lot more about Hinduism, life after death, how to find inner peace. And these were books and moments that we shared together, and it brought us a great deal of bond. We bonded over it, and I learned a lot from him that we learned together. So I had the unique position to know that he was preparing for this day for quite some time. And that's why I get to stand here today, not full with tears. And it's a great honor because I get to commemorate his life. I get to finally talk on the day that he had foreseen for so many years. And the moment where he finally gets to have the peace he so desperately wanted in the later stages of his life. All of you sitting here will remember his wife, Auntie Loga, known to my sister and I as Ogama, and he had been without her for just over 23 years. 23 years where the void in his life that was left by her passing was filled, and most of you will agree with this, by my father, my sister, and myself. So we all of us sitting here, we had a very unique, a very special bond with Papa. But my sister, my father, and I, we spent the latter or the most recent parts of our lives devoted to him, just as he devoted his whole life to taking care of us. Every small thing that he would want, if it was a chocolate at the shops, my sister would go. She would go just for that one chocolate, come all the way back. And if he
he wanted something else, she would go back again, same day, same time. If my father, if my grandfather had the slightest problem, he was very particular. He would want my father to take him to the doctor and check it out immediately. And those of you that know him will know he was a very, very strict, very in line type of person. If he wanted something done at that time of that day, it needed to be done on that day. And we can think back on these times, as strict as he was, it's a fond memory. And we loved him because of it. And in the later part of his life, when he started to lose strength, he wasn't able to be his normal self. There was nothing we were not willing to do for him. We would change the socks of his feet, take care of him, help him bathe, absolutely anything. Because he devoted his life to us out of love, we can commemorate him and we're willing to do anything for him because of our love for him. So it really is a great honor to be able to speak to him today in his final moments on this earth. And also a deeply sad moment since we have to part ways with him. But he is a living, his legend will live on in all of us, in the Naidu family, also in the Naidu family. And he will be remembered, and we will continue his spirit of goodwill, his wisdom. Hopefully we can continue his spirituality, his quest for life after death. And in closing, I'd like to say, I know very much personally, because he told me that in his quest for finding life after death, he can find Auntie Loka or Lokama along the way. So I'll just pass the microphone to my sister. She'll say a few words as well.
Public speaker between the two of us. But I think everyone sitting here knows that my grandfather was a source of wisdom to many of us, from life lessons to the football fixtures for the evening. He had it all covered. And despite his age, despite his declining health and posture, I think we should all remember him as the strong man that he was. He loved life, he loved food, he loved his family, and stayed like that right to the end. When you think about my grandfather, when the ceremony is over, think about your best memory of him. Maybe he snuck you some chocolates on your last visit, maybe he gave you a kind word of encouragement when you needed it, or just remember to sympathize with you on your late parents' death anniversary that many may have forgotten. He remembered it all, and he made sure we did too. So, yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I'm sure he's smiling down on us. He's happy all of you could make it. And hopefully, he's sitting with Lokama and catching her up on who's who after all the years. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Milen and Yelusa. And as you mentioned, Yelusa is catching up with Lokama, and I'm sure he must be catching up with all our late dads from the Murti family and the other Naidu family, because we remember all the good times, the uncles we have, and all the fun days we have, and I know Uncle Deva can rest well, having had such a doting family, immediate family, and such doting grandchildren. I will now call on Divya Chetty, who will pay tribute on behalf of the Murti family.
the officiating priest, the bereaved family, Jane, Ashni, Riverside Lane, the extended Naidu, and many friends. It is a privilege for me to speak on behalf of our bereaved family this morning. Uncle Deva was really a stalwart of our family, the last remaining uncle. And we just have 5 aunts, including my mom, left. He was married to Auntie Yoga, who lived in 63 years. And as Milen or Lisa mentioned, I think Auntie Yoga passed away about 23 years ago. But as we gather here today to honor the life of Uncle Deva, uncle, father, grandfather, we'd like to take a moment to express how much he meant to all of us. He was just not an uncle, he was a father figure, he was a mentor and a true friend. In his presence, we always felt a sense of warmth, kindness, safety, knowing that we had someone who believed in us unconditionally. Uncle Deva, as all our football lovers will know, was a very avid football fan and a massive Liverpool supporter. And watched games late into the night. On my business trips to Bloemfontein over the years, I had the privilege to go and visit him on the one day, and I always made it a point to keep in contact with Uncle Deva, whether it was telephonically or whether I traveled to Bloemfontein on business. And I'll never forget October the 4th, 2020. I visited Uncle Deva and there was a game on, which was Man United versus Spurs. And I had the privilege of watching the game, but it wasn't a good result for me being a Man United supporter because we lost 6-1. But throughout the game, he kept on saying to me, the side had so many chances, but they just cannot score. Actually, Man United was thrashed, and many of the local supporters will say they thrashed every year. But this was the character of Uncle Deva. He was kind to people at all times. I want to read out a few messages from some of my cousins. So the very first one was from Savannah, Yogan, Karen, and Tamara. Uncle Deva had the unique ability to light up a room with his laughter and wisdom. He taught us many valuable lessons that shaped us into the people that we are all today. Whether it was through his encouraging words, his gentle guidance, he had a way of making even the simplest moments feel special. We always cherished the countless memories we shared, the long thoughts, the talks with him, and he had this incredible knack of always listening if you were talking to him and making time, no matter how busy things were. His generosity of spirit and his unwavering support were truly a gift. Another message from my cousin Erika and Jansen and family. We cherished all the fond memories spent with Tata from the early days in Tonga to the latter in Bloemfontein, and thank you for being the father figure to us after the loss of our dad. In the Naidu family home, he portrayed both the fatherly and motherly figure to Vijay, the grandchildren, and everything was in order, even when Vashni was away on numerous business trips. He held everyone in great reverence. We admired the way Papa diarized everything. And I think Milen talked about it. He was also talked about it. Him being a very disciplined, strict person. He diarized everything. Birthdays, he made sure that he called all of us. We appreciated all his phone calls for all the special occasions. The time spent with him during the stay in Bloemfontein was very special because he would share many childhood memories which all of us cherish up to today. Living past the age of 90 is a blessing for any person. Jansen made a comment to say that the Premier League will be losing a very avid supporter that he cherished every Christmas spent with Papa. Thank you for your continuous love and care throughout your years of existence. Your treasured memories will be with us forever, and we will miss you dearly. And I have a message from my cousin Foster that's in Australia. It is with a heavy heart that we bid farewell to our dear Uncle Deva,
I have fond memories of him visiting us in Reservoir Hills with his powder blue Mazda 323, spending many Christmases or Diwalis and Sitas. Where his house would be the gathering point for all our families. Not forgetting the many Liverpool matches that we would watch or discuss with him. A real distinguished gentleman, every 2 miles he was husband, father, and grandfather. He looked after our dear Aunt Lola through all the illnesses. He was ever present in the time of need for any of his family members. Rest in peace, Uncle Dara. You will never walk. Obviously, of course, there's a little bit of potential to get that. In a message from Bhavani, I remembered Uncle Dara being there for my parents through the difficult times. Even after my dad passed away, he would make sure to visit my mom whenever he could. The support and love shown would never be forgotten. We also remember the visits to Sitas and the warm welcome always. And what stands out most is the way he took care of our Auntie Lola. Uncle Dara was a true role model of a family man who showed love, care, and kindness. As we say goodbye today, we would like to celebrate his legacy of love and kindness. And I think Louisa and Elaine also echo that we will all cherish the moments and the kindness that he shared with all of us. Though he is no longer with us, his spirit will live on in our lives, in touch and in the memories we hold dear. We are certainly going to miss the phone calls, his presence at the Christmas lunches, and the visits in closing tea. Death is something inevitable. If a man has achieved what he considers to be his duty to the world, he can rest in peace. I strongly believe our Uncle Dara made that effort and has earned his eternal sleep. Thank you, Uncle Dara, for being you and for showing us what it means to be loved and also to love. You will forever remain in our hearts.
Thank you, William. Our next speaker, close the family friend who has known Uncle Dara and the family for 40 years, and was formed, and he's come all the way from Rufute to pay tribute to Uncle Dara, followed by Dr. Logan Monsami.
Dear friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam, Namaskar, Namaste to all of you. Thank you for this opportunity to represent the Rufute community at this funeral service of our late Uncle Dara. We will certainly treasure many happy moments with your Uncle Dara, including our happy memories together at Grandchild. Just over a year ago, 8 months, thereabout. Happy memories. Amiga, Tabo, Sakasaki, Saloshna, and Navila's family. Uncle Dara was the oldest, ladies and gentlemen, and elder amongst the Indian community of Rufute. And just like all of us, he was a fallible with all his mistakes. He wasn't a saint, but he was a gentleman who hold his head higher with all his flaws, he wore dignity like an inherited garment. I can tell you that. I can testify to that without a shadow of doubt. You want to talk about soccer and Uncle Deva? I can tell you, the last name he mentioned was Chelsea. EJ, is that Chelsea? And then he put his head down. You want to talk about being meticulous and his diary? Talk to me. He used to fight with me. When are you bringing your diary? Ash, you'll testify to that. Lajit and Colin, I retired some times ago. We were immediate neighbors in Sea-Tides. And as seniors, retired people as we were, Uncle Deva used to scold us for fetching late, especially when he had his appointments. And then later on, when Colin and I used to get together and we'll giggle about, like naughty school boys. What the hell did you do? Why didn't you go to 10? What happened? Because of you, he's going to tell me about all the stories. I have to put up with it. That's what Colin would tell me, and most often I was a guilty person. This was Uncle Deva, disciplinarian. One day, Colin's wife, she was also a neighbor. She told Uncle Deva, fairly recently, she told Uncle Deva, Uncle Deva, you look so handsome today. What happened? What's happening? He says, unfortunately, my dear, I'm taken. Thank you very much. Now, the point of the matter, he was crisp and cutting. He could relate to old and young, sharp and witty at his age. You will bear testimony to that. If I know him for about 40 years or so, Cody can be the judge for that. He was witty and smart and always meticulous. Neat in his appearance, maintained an upright decorum, commanded respect amongst the young and the old. That was the character of Uncle Deva. The Bloemfontein Hindu community held a memorial service on Monday. On Tuesday, on Monday it was Nabila and Turash, NPA community, Hindu community held a memorial service on Monday. On Tuesday also there was another service on Tuesday afternoon. Almost or more than 50 officials from the Department of Correctional Service were there to hold a memorial service. There's testimony to the kind of gentleman he was. Now, from this you can safely conclude he was a very uncaring, witty character. And he was loved by all of us in Bloemfontein. And the number of us that are sitting here would bear testimony to that. Uncle Deva, where you are now, your soul is finally set from the influence of threefold defilement. Through the grace of Sivan, we are convinced that your soul has obtained its divine wisdom and rises to live eternally in the conscious, in the company of your beloved Auntie Logan, with full enjoyment of Sivan's presence. This is conclusive bliss. This is emancipation, Uncle Deva. Judge Vasuthava Naidu, Judge of the High Court, you can bear testimony to this and you be the judge. Om Namah Shivaya Namah. Mikka Nandri, Shukriya, Rombona. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Sami, for the introduction. I now call upon Deva's doctorate law, Vashni who have a special reading to take. Vashni.
To our dear family, friends, to all who are in the house. Namaskaram, namaste. As you have heard, Uncle Deva was a very thorough and logical person. So when the late said that he had graced us for today, of course we didn't know when today was going to come, but it is here. So I have this with me as a special request, and Zealand and Dinesh, for both of you know, this is his handwriting, and I want to share with you how thorough he was. And he said to me, he called me last year, and he said that this is what I want you and the Jen to do. He called the Jen to do. This is what I want for my funeral. He said, in the event of my death, it is my wish to have a funeral done at the Clare Estate Crematorium and the facilities at the Sivanandaghat to dispose my ashes. Please read the leaflet attached to the booklet, What Becomes of the Soul After Death, written by Swami Sivananda. And he also asked for the congregation to be able to look at the doom of death and the great adventures on the side. So this one is for you, Uncle Deva, at your request. Uncle Deva was not just my father-in-law. For 23 years, up to my mother-in-law died, he came to live with us. And he was my father, and he was my mother-in-law. Because he helped me to be who I am today. And I'm failing if I don't say this. Because he would be my cook. He would look after Milan, and he would look after Eurissa, and the wisdom that they have gained is very much on part of the Discovery Channel. All the different types of exposure to different types of intellectual discourse, he would pass on to them. With me, a small little thing to show you the relationship I have with him. When I'm traveling, I'll get into the kitchen in the morning. I'll tell him I'm going to Cape Town or wherever. I get into the room in the kitchen, and on the table he's got the temperature, the number of days I'm going, how hot it's going to be, how cold it's going to be, and he'll make a note, please take an umbrella because it's going to be raining. And that would be there for me. He would pack little things for me. Those are little special things that you won't find. We have been truly blessed to have been with him. I have learned an incredible amount of knowledge from him. I'm going to miss him primarily when I do my Pratasi prayer or any prayer. He will get up an hour before me, 4 o'clock in the morning. He'll have everything cut up. He'll have everything ready just for me to come and start cooking. And that is so special. I'm really going to miss him. He was my friend. Although Milen said that Deva was in charge of the kitchen, I had no place in the kitchen. I gave him that role completely. So this is the verse that he wanted me to read, Conquest of Death. All are terribly afraid, and I quote from What Becomes of the Soul After Death, from Sri Swami Sivananda. All are terribly afraid of death. No one wants to die. Even intellectual persons who have grasped the idea that the soul is immortal and is distinct from the body are also awfully afraid of death. Mysterious is infatuated love for the body. Mysterious is the power of illusion and ignorance. The body is misused as an instrument for all sorts of sensual enjoyments. That is why man is intensely attached to the body. Through ignorance, he identifies himself with the perishable physical body. Through erroneous misconception, he mistakes the impure, insentient, and permanent, pain-giving body for the pure, sentient, eternal, or blissful. soul, eternal being. So he is caught up in the whirlpool of birth and death. Man has lost his power of discrimination through the force of ignorance. From ignorance springs non-discrimination. Hence, he is not able to discriminate between the eternal being and the non-eternal, between the real and the unreal, between truth and falsehood, between matter and spirit. From non-discrimination is born egoism, or the self-assertive principle. Wherever there is egoism, there is the play of two currents of likes and dislikes. He performs actions through likes and dislikes. He takes bodies to reap the fruits of his actions. Therefore, ignorance is the root cause of human suffering. It is the cause of karmas and births. If you free yourself from ignorance through knowledge of the imperishable self, you will have conquest over death and merge yourself in the immortal eternal being. The student of Jnana Yoga equips himself with the four means of salvation called sadhana, chaturya. They are discrimination, dispassion, the sixfold virtues, and intense yearning for final emancipation. Then he approaches his God-realized Guru and hears the Srutis or the Upanishads. He then reflects on what he hears, meditates constantly on the eternal being, and merges in it. He thus achieves conquest of death. The study of Bhakti Yoga develops the 9 modes of devotion. He does japa of the mantra, does kirtan and serves the devotees. He does total ungrudging self-surrender to the Lord. He says to the Lord, I am thine, all is thine, thy will be done. He attains the vision of the Lord and thus obtains mystical mastery over death. The student of Raja Yoga practices self-restraint and religious observances. He sits in a yoga posture, restrains the breath, withdraws the senses, controls thoughts, practices concentration and meditation, and attains union with the Lord. He thus gets conquest of death. The student of Hatha Yoga awakens that which is lying dormant at the base of the spine through various asanas, pranayama, and other practices, takes it through various nerve centers at the crown of the head, where he unites the Shakti with Lord Shiva, and thus obtains conquest of death. In Karma Yoga purifies the heart through constant self-service. He kills egoism through self-sacrifice, attains illumination, and thus achieves conquest of self. Death and how to conquer it. Death is only a change of form. It is only separation of your astral body from the physical body. Why are you so much afraid of death, my dear Salah? Birth follows death, just as waking follows sleep. You will again resume the work that was left off by you in your previous life. Therefore, do not be afraid of death. The idea of death has ever been the strongest motive power of religion and religious life. Man is afraid of death. In old age, he tries to think of God. If he remembers God even from his boyhood, he will reap a rich spiritual harvest in old age. Man does not want to die. He wants to live forever. This is the starting point of philosophy. Philosophy inquires and investigates. Then boldly proclaims, O man, do not be afraid of death. There is an immortal abode. There is the eternal being. It is in your own self that dwells in the chamber of your heart. Purify your heart and meditate on this pure, immortal, changeless self. You will attain immortality. O man, do not be afraid of death at all. Thou art immortal. Death is not the opposite of life. It is only a phase of life. Life flows on season. The fruit perishes, but the seed is full of life. The seed dies, but a huge tree grows out of the seed. The tree perishes, but it becomes coal, which has a rich life. Water disappears, and now becomes an invisible stream, which contains the seed of a new life. The stone disappears, but it becomes lime, which is full of new life. The physical sheath only is thrown out, but life persists. Can you tell me, friend, is there anyone on the surface of earth who is not afraid of death? This is what I will never want to be to read. And his message is, life continues. We must continue. Everything that we do is but worldly goods. Everything that we look to is but worldly goods. But the true moksha, the true attainment of self, is going into your spirituality and realizing that we need to remove ignorance from the human suffering. And that is what will attain us to where we want to go. So, he says, you dream sometimes that you are dead and see your relatives are weeping. Even in that supposed dead state, you see and hear them weeping. This clearly indicates that even after apparent death, life really persists. You exist even after the physical sheet is thrown out. That existence is the self, the divine. If you realize this immortal soul, which is hidden in your heart, if the three knots of ignorance, desire, and action are raised asunder, if the chain of ignorance, namely ignorance, non-discrimination, egoism, likes and dislikes, karma and body is broken, you will be freed from the rounds of birth and death, and you will enter the city of endlessness.
Family, friends, before the Guru Steady Union takes over, on behalf of Vijay, Vashmi and family, we wish to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to all of you, to all who assisted in calls to the family, all those who assisted in any way. Also a special thanks to many of you who have traveled from far, you have come from other parts of the country to pay tribute to the labor. And the family also requests that after the final rite of form, that you join them for lunch at the Javida Hall, which is just down the road. Vijay has called me again earlier on to be expressing gratitude to all of you for assisting in any way that you can. Now I hand you over to Guru Segi.
இப்போ நடந்த அப்பையார் வாசுதேவ நாயுடு இப்பெருதற்கு சொல்லியிருக்கிறார். அப்பையார் வாழ்கிறோம் அதில் செய்ய பாவங்களை மன்னித்து பக்கத்தில் பிரார்த்தனை செய்திருக்கிறார். Every good day, my sincere vanakkam. Namaste, namaskar. Greet Tom Muslim colleagues as well. We've gathered here today to bid farewell to our wonderful loving dad. Late Vasuthava Naidu was there a period of 91 years departed, leaving back his only son, the daughter-in-law, the two grandchildren, the brothers, two brothers, the sister-in-law, host of nephew nieces, family representatives. The South Parliament could come to the ultimate body dead, late Vasuthava Naidu. And our child memories nearly to 91 years, till I will be remembered treasure. I'll be short between birth and death. Let us do good. Let us be good. Someday we'll be back to good and rounded death Vasuthava Naidu has left that in the last 91 years. Gathering from the crowd at meet us at this very moment. Those to show that our late dead lived a wonderful 91 years. And his memory will forever be remembered. On a big time of our youngest and the greatest in Young Thomas. In their Mandir Marvel Video, Father Better Video. Meaning we are created from dust. And someday when one passes on, whether it be buried or cremated, our end is us. Just to know him, join in please. Mandir Marvel Video, Father Better Video. Gratitude to each and every one of you for coming under the cost of this grieving time. All your kind words, sympathies, love and importance which you make to them abundantly. We want to say a very big thank you to our MC for wonderfully seeing us through this program over this day. And it's because of the Naidu family, there will be a property opportunity this evening. 16th month, Memorial for our late dead Vasuthava Naidu. They will be conducted on the Sunday after the 10th of November. Be in touch with the United Family in regards with time-wise with the idea appreciated. They will be continuing at the United Residence on Monday morning, 11th of November. We are not possible to accept this as a personal invitation. Also on your behalf, we are the gentlemen and staff of the University Diplomat Takers. We'd like to extend our deepest sympathies and condolences to the United Family. It's not everything. While I'm here, mentioned that some of the processions controls here to make our way down the road that we don't all if that is especially prepared by the family and go over and join them would be our generation. At this time, let's all of us raise, put our hands together to give the immediate family an opportunity to make a special offering of the power.
Oh
Shivaya, Namo Namah. Om Namah Shivaya, Namo Namah. Deva Perumane, Deva Perumane, Deva Kuni Deva, Deva Perumane, Deva Perumane, Deva Perumane, Deva Kuni Deva, Deva Perumane, Anneka Deva Deva Me. Anavane, Niyarutevaye. Anavane, Niyarutevaye. Diva Perumane, Diva Perumane. Jalla Kumideva, Diva Perumane. Namachivaya Mami, Devame. Dear Princess, you mean to examine the Lord for the fine life. We all have a safe journey. God bless each and every one of you. God be with you. My sister, you want to come down to this? Namaskaram. Let's go ahead and get that do it well. We want to already dead. Vasuthava Naidu. Get my argument, get my dog fire. Keep our hands together. Thankara-sivan, 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 Thankara. Govinda, 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 Govinda. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om